Welcome to My Watches with Ben. Today's video is the fourth in a 5-video series on the wristwatch type of GADA watch. Go anywhere, do anything. The full video series will end next week with the live stream where I show you my top 10 out of 374 GADA watches that exist on the market. If you're able to, please join me for that live stream at 8 p.m. Mountain, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. Stop by and say hi. It'll be a lot of fun. The scores will be adjusted in that last video to account for more subjective factors. And the price will also be a factor. So the cheaper watches will be more competitive with the really expensive ones. In this particular video today, I am looking at the really expensive ones. I'm just looking at the luxury price range, and there's 92 watches in this category, over $2,500. Yeah, today we'll see watches such as that Rolex Explorer, the Nomos, Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, the Vacheron Constantin Overseas, the Hermes, the Omega Seamaster, Railmaster, Patek Philippe, Aquanaut, Crador, Bulgari, stuff like that. A lot of cool watches. The methodology I used to give these watches a score, that's in the first video. So if you want to know how I did it, you can find that first video linked in the description. It has the continuum of formality, the philosophy of GADA, the methodology for scoring the watches. There's a lot of good stuff in there. I just didn't want to have it in all the videos. And this is a good time to mention, if you're short on time, please use the timestamps in the description to jump to that top 5. The top 5 luxury watches will be at the end. You can jump there now if you're short on time. Now I'll show you the overview. Here's a chart for how all the luxury watches shook out score-wise. And most of them are recommended. 46% of the watches have a good grade, A to B minus. That's the most of any price category. The luxury has the most in that top one. 28% are in this okay grade, C plus to C. And then off to the right, there's 26% that are not recommended out of the box. If you like what I do on this channel, please like and subscribe. It really helps the video to get out. And I mentioned this before, but all the YouTube proceeds go to support missions in other countries. At time of recording, the channel has earned about $400 since last October, which again, just goes directly to missions. All right, and here are all those 92 watches in the luxury price range. I'm going to show you the watches one at a time, starting with number 6 all the way through number 92 at the end. And then after that, I'll have a countdown to the final 5. Again, use the timestamp if you want to skip to the top 5. All right, let's go ahead and start with number 6. 6th place, I'm surprised it's not in the top 5, but it's not, is the Omega Seamaster Aquaterra. $6,600. It's a luxury watch, no question about that. 41 across, good wrist presence, 13.2 thick. It's on the thicker side. Omegas are thicker. I think part of it is the coaxial movement. But yeah, you've got great protection against magnetism with the silicone balance wheel. I really like the dial. I mean, it's a beautiful watch. The case is really cool. We have a color match date. It's a master chronometer. Apparently the bracelet does not have an extension on it. That's kind of a surprise. The lume looks really good on this. Yeah, I like to show the watches on an alternate strap option for go anywhere, do anything. Because if you have a one-watch collection, you want to be able to have other straps. And this one actually looks pretty cool on a tan nylon strap. You're not going to take it on a hike, probably, but I suppose you could if you wanted to. If it's truly your only watch, you know, you might want to dress it down sometimes. So you have that option. Total score of 91. In 7th place is the Rolex Explorer, the venerable Rolex Explorer. It's $7,000. It's probably the cheapest Rolex you can get. 36 millimeters, 11.5, so good thickness. Better than that Omega by a lot. I chose the 36 for this because I think if I was ever going to get one of these, which it would never happen, but for some reason I was a millionaire and I got the Rolex Explorer, I would want the 36 because to me that's just the better size. I know the 40 is more popular, but yeah, you get a superlative chronometer, officially certified. There's no date on this, unfortunately, but they couldn't really put a date on here. That would ruin it. This is the Rolex Explorer. Please don't mess it up, Rolex. I know they kind of messed it up with the one with the gold bezel. That's pretty weird. This is great just how it is. So no date. Keep it that way. You get a bracelet extension. And it looks totally at home on a field strap. That is a great option. The lume looks good on the Rolex Explorer. Yeah, this one and the last one, they'll be wild cards for the final runoff. So this has a chance to be in the final top 10. Total score of 90. 8th is the Ball Engineer 3 Outlier. $3,449. It's 40 across, 13.8. So this one's thicker too. Some of that is probably due to the 200 meters water resistance. It does have a Faraday cage. It does have an anti-shock suspension system inside to protect their chronometer movement. It's a good watch. Ball makes a compelling case for why they should exist. High quality watches. They make it a little bit sophisticated. All their watches are kind of sophisticated, classy looking, you know, with the symbol on the counterbalance here. They're also really sporty. I like the orange. Yeah, there was somebody in the past who said, oh, this is exactly like the Rolex Explorer 2. It is barely at all like the Rolex Explorer 2. I just have to, I can't let that go. It's definitely different. It has orange. That's a common feature between the two. And it has that dual time hand. Very different watches. The lume is blow your socks off. The lume is so cool on this thing. I think it's suitable for outdoors. It looks the part. It's got kind of a military vibe to it a little bit. It looks right. It looks right in the field to me. If anything, this looks better than the Rolex Explorer 2 for the field, because it's just got a little bit more sharp edges and stuff. It's looking more tactical. It's a cool option. You can get it in blue and white as well. Score 90. Oh, I absolutely love this watch. It is very expensive. The Nomos Club Sport Neomatic date, $781. Beautiful watch, only 10.2 thick. They made this thing so slim. It's so sophisticated looking. The date actually looks enormous. I don't know why that is. It's $4,280. 42, good size. Larger than I would have thought, actually. I think they do make a smaller version of this. 300 meters water resistance. How do you do that and have it be 10.2? That's amazing. They call it 1,000 feet. It's made in Germany, Glashütte. Nomos makes beautiful watches. This is a fantastic GADA watch. And so you'll see it in the final runoff. It's a wild card. It's got very high everyday looks. It's got a fairly good field vibe. It's fantastic in the office and the field, in my opinion. And it looks totally at home on a pass-through strap. I think that's a great choice. It really has the field aesthetic down. And the office thing, it's just a great GADA watch. It's a fantastic GADA watch. Lume looks really good on this thing too. I really like the green. The green is probably my favorite, but I don't think you can get the green with a date. So that's a downside. Yeah, I just put black and blue. I think those are the only date options. Beautiful watch. I think this is my favorite in the luxury price range. Total score of 89. 10th place is the Bremont Terra Nova 40.5. $3,550. It's not, you compare it to the Rolex, it's half the price for Rolex. And 40.5, like we said, 11.2 thick. So decent thickness. That's actually thinner than the Rolex Explorer. Bremont, they get backlash for some reason. I mean, there's probably good reason for the backlash, but they make good watches. It's undeniable. They make some really cool watches. I like the case. I like the mirror bezel, just like the Hamilton Khaki Field Automatic. I think it looks really cool. The lume is fantastic on this. Stunning lume, way better than average. And they do actually sell it on this like Velcro strap, pass-through strap. So they're clearly trying to go for the GADA thing. You know, wear it to the office and wear it to the field. Got this compass symbol here that looks really cool. I really like this one too. That's the problem with the luxury price range, is the watches just look so good. The watches are so good. They're just so expensive. This will be a wild card at the end. 11th place, beating the Rolex Explorer 2, is the Tudor Black Bay Pro. $4,375. It's a 39, great size, 14.6 thick. I really like the yellow. I think yellow is a little better than orange. It's a chronometer. You get 200 meters water resistance. You get the silicone balance spring. I think that's what pushes it over the Rolex, because it is thicker. It's actually really thick. That's not ideal. Get a nice dual time hand here. The snowflake hands are iconic for Tudor. It's going to look totally at home on some kind of pass-through strap. I think that looks cool. The lume is good. Another great option. The bracelet has these interesting little rivets on it. It's got good everyday looks and okay field vibe. It's a good option. Score of 88. 12th place is the Vacheron Constantin Overseas. $25,000. 41 millimeters across, 10.7 thick. Good grief, these are expensive. You do get a Faraday cage. It's interesting how they do it. They have a ring of soft iron that goes around the movement, so you can still see the movement through the case back. So they did it a different way. Their bracelet is a butterfly clasp. That's not my favorite. Anytime I look at this watch, I always think about how crud is going to get in here. It's going to be hard to clean this bezel. They do offer leather straps as an alternative, but that's going to be all you're going to get. Maybe there's aftermarket alternatives. The way these lugs work, you're not going to find a lot of options for different straps. The loom is not great. You do get 150 meters water resistance and a screw-down crown. So Vacheron Constantin is good about that. Their watch is... It's better than the Royal Oak, that's for sure. This is more robust. Total score of 88. 13th place, another ball. The Ball Engineer M Pioneer 40 millimeters. $3,849. 40 millimeters across, 12.1. And yeah, I should mention, I don't think I got all the ball models that exist. I wasn't trying to get all the balls that exist. I just got some of the ones that I thought would score better. This one is really more military. You have the military time. It's very fieldy. They have their nice, pretty bracelet. I love ball bracelets. Not that I've ever handled one, but they look really cool with these big links in the middle with this H-link bracelet. They're so smooth. It looks really good. I'm sure you're gonna scratch it. So if you buy the watch, don't feel bad about the scratches. Just embrace the scratches. You're gonna scratch it. It's chronometer like that last one. It has shock protection. Awesome. It's gonna look totally at home in the field. Yeah, I really do think Ball does this the best. Loom is just, it's obscene. It's like an outrage how cool the loom is. I think they're the only ones doing this thing. I know from the Field Watch video, there are some other brands that do stuff like this. Ball just takes it to the next level. 80 hours power reserve on this chronometer. That's actually the highest power reserve we've seen so far. Ball's doing some great stuff. Score of 88. 14th is the Breitling Aerospace Evo. $4,900, 43 millimeters across, 20 millimeters thick. No, I'm just kidding. It's only 10.8. Wow, Breitling, your watch isn't 20 millimeters thick. It's only 10.8. It's titanium. Their listed weight for this on the bracelet is only 105. That's awesome. That is really awesome for a bracelet watch. They never get that low unless they're titanium, and of course it's titanium. I like Breitling bezels. They look really cool. You've got the military thing down totally. Is it every day? I think it kind of is. I think they've threaded the needle here. It has the military aesthetic, but I think if you're that kind of guy, I think you can wear this wherever you want. It has a thermocompensated quartz movement in here. They call it a chronometer. It actually has chronometer certification, the quartz movement does. It's gonna look at home in the field, put it on a black canvas strap or whatever you like. That's gonna look good. It does have a backlight, and it has traditional loom on the hands and the Arabics, and even the pip for the elapsed time bezel. This is a cool one. Score of 88. And the Rolex Explorer 2 we've been talking about. It's in 15th place, $9,750, so a couple thousand more than that Explorer 1. It's 42 across, 12.5 thick. That's pretty good. That's pretty good thickness. You only get 100 meters water resistance though. The Submariner has 300, and that's 12. You know, I know these GMT movements, they make a thicker watch. You've got a whole nother hand on there, so that contributes to the increase in thickness. I prefer the white dial over the black dial version. It actually looks good on this tan nylon strap. Loom looks good. I like that they did black hands. Thank you. Thank you, Rolex Tudor. They get it. They get it. They're not going to put silver hands on a white dial. Thank you so much. Another really sweet watch. This one is a wild card. It'll be in the final runoff. To be live streamed next week. Or for those of you watching after the fact, just check the playlist. It'll be the last video in the playlist. 16th place is the IWC Ingenieur. $11,700. What? 40 millimeters across, 10.7 thick. Why are they charging more than Rolex? IWC charges too much. That's been established. I'm not the first one to say it. They do have a Faraday cage. That's cool. You have 5 little screws here. That's interesting. It's a distinctive look. It does have that integrated bracelet. Loom is poor. They do offer other strap choices, but you're limited. Basket weave thing, or it's not exactly basket weave, but it's evocative of basket weave. It looks okay. They did color match to date. That's nice. Score of 87. 17th is the Bulgari Octo Roma. 7,800 bucks, 41, and it's only 9.2. That's something Bulgari is great at. 9.2 thick. That's the thinnest, isn't it? That's a millimeter thinner than that Nomos. Bulgari makes a thin watch. It looks beefy. It looks a little brutalist. It's really cool. I dig this one. You've got an octagonal dial here. It's so cool. Like the big 12 and the 6. There's something about this that really appeals to me. The bracelet looks really cool too with these wide lugs. You can put it on a pass-through. That looks a little funny. And I couldn't find a loom shot for the Bulgari Octo Roma, which is odd. I mean, you know, I'll go through a couple pages of Google Images or something. I couldn't find one for this. So that's strange. It's probably not too impressive. I mean, you can clearly see there is loom, but I couldn't find a shot. Total score of 87. Oh, this one is so beautiful. 18th place is the Ball Engineer 3 00 red. I love zeros at the top. There's something about that just really pleases me. I love that they're red. The loom, I have to show you the loom before anything else. What? It is so cool. You have white tritium tubes mixed with red, and then red on the seconds. I mean, nobody else does this. This is so cool. This is unbelievably cool. It's going to look at home on a field strap. It doesn't have to be black. You could do gray, you could do tan, you could even do blue, or maybe even red if you're feeling adventurous. You can put a lot of different straps on this. They're going to work just fine. Gray is awesome. I do like gray. It's a very versatile color. It's just a little bit more casual than black. But the black hands give this some sophistication. The case shape, this ball case shape, is just really classy. The bracelet looks really nice. Yeah, some downsides. It is too thick. 13.6 is too thick. I mean, that's the same problem the Omega Aquaterra had. It's just too thick. These guys at least have an excuse with the tritium tubes. I don't know what Omega's doing. You get a chronometer. You get great magnetism protection. They have a Faraday cage. And it's on the lower end for price as well. Only $2,749 only. Oh man, this thing is so cool. Score of 87. 19th place is the Fortis Vagabond. 6,150. Man, guys, that's expensive. I mean, at that point, just get the Explorer. Although these are very different watches. Anyway, I'll continue here. 40 millimeters left to right, and top to bottom. It's a square. It's basically just a square here, so that gets it. So a penalty. That's more real estate on your wrist than a normal 40, and more weight. And it's 13.9, thicker than the ball. And yes, you do have a fourth hand here. That adds to the stack height and everything. So I was complaining about ball being thick, but this one's even thicker. This is interesting. It's sort of like an integrated bracelet, but then if you put another strap on, it still looks okay. It still looks like a normal watch. You get screw bars instead of spring bars. I do like that. It is more robust than spring bars. It does look okay. I don't know. Everything's so shiny here. You know, the shiny applied numerals. It's a classy field watch, I guess, sort of. The loom is disappointing. You're missing the numbers. Yeah, I would rather have the numbers loomed. But I lean more to that utilitarian side. This is trying to be more sophisticated. And that's what all these watches are trying to do. They're trying to be sophisticated and utilitarian and do it together. And some of them do it better than others. This one is a little bit weird. This is also a chronometer. Total score of 86. 20th place is the Omega Globe Master. 8,300 bucks, 39 across, 12.6 thick. That's a better thickness. It is also a master chronometer. Coin edge bezel is looking cool. Or what do you call this? Yeah, what do you call this bezel that's all fancy? The word's escaping me. The pie pan dial is so cool. This blue is really appealing. It reminds me of the ocean. It's just a great blue. If you want to dress it down, I suppose you could. It's looking a little out of place. Lume is passable. You do get that silicone balance spring. Omega's good about that. No field vibe to speak of. Total score of 85. 21st place is the Hermes H08, $6,250, 39 millimeters square, and 10.6 thick. Great thickness. Good job, Hermes. I really think that's something to pay attention to, the thickness. It makes all the difference when wearing watches. I have watches of different thicknesses, and you can really tell when it's thinner like this. It just feels so much better. They have really cool style here. The numbers gravitate toward the center, and then they flip for down here. I think it works on this one. They've taken more of an artsy approach here with, like, you know how the 3 and the 8 are similar, but the 3 just has a little bite taken out of it. It's like the 8 with a bite out of it. The 6, same thing. So they've got a really cool font here. So it's okay that it's a little bit quirky. That gives it some charm. I love the orange on the second. The lume is really good. They lumed all these Arabics. It actually works as a field watch too. You can take this on your hike. I think it looks cool on like a distressed gray canvas strap. And it's definitely a wild card. It's going to be in the 50 watch final runoff at the end. This one's a banger. Score of 85. 22nd, looking similar to that Hermes, is the Bell & Ross BR05 Auto. The dial is so much smaller though. You've got a lot of bezel. And I know that's what they do. It's an interesting look. I'm not going to say I hate it. The problem I have with Bell & Ross is the price. I don't understand why they're so expensive. That's the main issue I have. It looks cool. It's a cool looking watch. I like the integrated bracelet. Lume looks good on this. You can get other strap options, but I think it's just going to be silicone. So that dresses it down a little bit, but this watch still is kind of flashy. They're getting that military aesthetic, you know, copying kind of the flight instruments. They're also making it like upscale. Great thickness. That's fantastic. Total score of 85. All right, the Patek Philippe Nautilus 5811. Beautiful watch, highly sought after. $78,000. I don't know who these people are well, I do actually know who the people are who are buying this that are really rich. You just kind of know that just from the price. If you can buy this, either you're criminally insane or you're really, really rich. And maybe you're both. Maybe you're both insane and really rich. Only 8.2. Patek is a master of thinness. Some of their watches are actually kind of thick though. This one is very thin. That's a hallmark of this watch. And someone pointed out to me that the 30 meters, it doesn't mean the same thing that the other watch brands mean. It means you can actually scuba dive with this to 30 meters. That's not what 30 meters normally means. So maybe I should have given this a higher water resistance score just to be fair with the other watches. I'm just now realizing that. That's okay. This one's a little too formal. It's really not that great of a GADA watch in my opinion. It's a great business watch. Fantastic business watch. You're going to impress people. It's going to look great in a lot of different settings. You know, you can probably wear it to a barbecue. You're not going to wear it on a hike. I think it's weird to wear something like this on a hike, personally. Oh, what's the biggest thing about this? It's a white gold case. Okay, it's gold. This watch is gold, so it's going to be super heavy. You can get other strap options. That looks so cheesy, though. Good grief. I don't think that's a great look. The lume is okay. You're not buying it for the lume. It does have a silicone balance spring, so that's cool. Score of 84. 24th is the Damasco DK26, the bracelet version, $2,743, 39 across, 10 thick. Great size. I mean, it's kind of smaller for a pilot watch. It is kind of a pilot watch. It's the most fieldy watch that Damasco offers. You do have the sector here in the middle. Manufacturer automatic. It's interesting that for the standard hours you have 369, but then military you've got some other options. It's kind of splitting the baby there. Photine is a little strong on this one, a little too strong. It would be more sophisticated if this was white. That would be a totally different look. So they're missing it on the everyday looks a little bit. They could get the score higher if they had white instead of the Photina. I'll put up a mock-up with gray. I'll just remove the saturation. Loom, I don't get it. Why? Why, Damasco? Just make these little batons loom too. I don't know, they're cheaping out on us. It does look at home in the field. That totally makes sense. It has that field aesthetic. Total score of 84. 25th. I don't know what to think about this darn watch. Rolex Explorer Perpetual Land Dweller. My first impression is, get that thing away from me. I think that was a lot of people's first impression. Score-wise, it does incredibly well as a GADA watch on paper. So it has the features that you would want. It has the things you would want. 100 meters, screw-down crown, 904L stainless steel, sapphire crystal, silicone brown spring. It has a lot of things you like. It's not a bad watch. It has a chronometer, it's very thin. If you're trying to evaluate it using specs on the page, you have to come away realizing it's a quality watch. The problem is just the style. The honeycomb thing looks so weird with Rolex. I don't know if they've done textured dials before. It just looks wrong. I don't like the silver hands on the white dial. I mentioned that before. I thought Rolex got it, but then they lost it. And they came out with this thing that messes it all up. I mean, okay, I know that like on a Datejust, you could get silver hands on a silver dial. So for dressier, I get why you do that. But yeah, so this doesn't really get the GADA watch aesthetic at all. Field vibe, if I could give it negative points, I suppose I could have. Could have given it negative field vibe points. Maybe I should have, just for this one watch, given it like a negative 10 field vibe. You'd never wear this to the mountains. This is the only loom shot I could find. It's still kind of a new watch. You're not going to be changing the strap. Integrated bracelet. Rolex doesn't want you to change their bracelets anyway, but they're going to really make it impossible on this one. It's a weird one. I think this was a miss by Rolex. I think they messed up here. But it is a high quality watch. And maybe they're just ahead of the times. Maybe they're predicting what we will like in the future, 10 years from now or something. Maybe that's it. 26th place is the Patek Philippe Calatrava. 5226G. It's 43,800. I mean, it's Patek Philippe. 40 millimeters across, only 8.5 thick. You don't get that impression looking at it head on, but this is a very, very thin watch. Color matched date. Very utilitarian looking, but also looking fancy. So they got the vibes down really well for a GADA watch. You can put it on other straps. I think Patek Philippe offers it on this strap. Sailcloth or whatever that is. Loom actually looks pretty good on this. It's a cool watch. Definitely a cool watch. Strong field vibes for Patek. Score of 83. In 27th place is the Grand Seiko Sport SBGN 027. I suppose this is their answer to the Rolex Explorer 2. I don't know who did it first, but yeah, it's, get your dual time hand here. They have this weird gray loom that's kind of odd. It's 3,400, so not breaking the bank, but it's only a quartz. 39 millimeters across, 12.3 thick. I mean, I actually really like quartz watches. It's very reliable, very accurate. I don't think quartz is that bad. Some people just won't even own a quartz. They're into the automatic thing. I mean, I like automatic watches, but okay, I said earlier gray loom. It's actually only loom in these little white patches at the quadrants. Look at that. That's bad. It's really bad. And then they loom the dual time hand, like you're gonna know at night or whatever what this means. Loom the second, guys. Anyway, it doesn't really make sense in the field. You can try that, but it doesn't make sense. I mean, the Grand Seiko aesthetic is just, it's a semi-formal aesthetic. They really don't dip too much into the field, the like utilitarian outdoor thing. It's just not their thing. They have these elegant hands. They're trying to with this one, the big, dark painted on numerals. It doesn't get there. It's weird. Oh, and this is odd too. A 4 o'clock date looks really weird on a luxury watch. I don't like that. Score of 83. 28th place is the Seiko Landmaster. You saw the Rolex Landmaster, now see the Seiko Landmaster. SLA 071. 2,600 bucks, 42 across, 12.7. And yeah, it's not really a luxury watch, but I just broke them into 4 equal price categories. It's titanium, that's really awesome. Titanium bracelet. There is an extension on the bracelet, which you usually don't get with Seiko. I like the little bit of gold. The dial is beautiful. Seiko makes beautiful dials. The compass bezel is interesting, so it gets a little bit of a field vibe there. I actually gave it a pretty high field vibe, all due to that compass bezel. It's going to look fine in the field. I think it gets the field vibe down. The lume looks really good on it too. I think it's suitable for semi-formal. You wouldn't go formal with this. You wouldn't go to an opera or something wearing Seiko Landmaster. But you can dip your toes into the semi-formal side of the continuum. Total score of 83. 29th is the Rolex Datejust 36. $7,550. 36 millimeters. That's the size I would choose. 12 thick. I mean, you can go 40. I think 40 looks good too. I'm wearing a Datejust homage. Oh no, I'm wearing a Day-Date homage. And it's a 40. So yeah, I mean, I could see why someone would wear a 40. They look different though. This one looks nicer. It has that bracelet extension. That's nice. Lume is good. On a black NATO, it looks weird. I don't think that's a great choice. Total score of 82. 30th place, the Breitling Chronomat. $5,450. Only 36. That's interesting. 10 millimeters thick. Yeah, is this supposed to be a ladies' watch? No, they do make like a 28 millimeter or something. So they make a ladies' version of this. I think this is the man's version. It's supposed to be like a business watch, similar to that Rolex Datejust. It's got a little bit more rough things going on. The bracelet confounds me. I don't understand what they're going for with these little round links. It's bizarre. It actually looks pretty cool on this gray canvas strap. I could not find a lume shot for the Chronomat. Score of 82. In 31st place is the Zen 836. $2,770. 43 across. Kind of big. 10.6. So I knew that some Zen watches have case hardening. They have tegimented steel. And so I wanted to find a GADA watch with tegimented steel. That's why this one's in here. The 556A I think is a better choice. I think if they put the Arabics on this, I would like it a whole lot more. But some people prefer the streamlined version with just the indexes instead of Arabics. Get that nice red second. You get a color matched date. Not a chronometer. I mean, most of them were until now. Lume looks passable. Totally looks at home on a pass-through strap. Decent option. Score of 82. 32nd is the LU Chopard Alpine Eagle 41. Oh, they just say Chopard. They don't have the LU. Anyway, $14,800. 41 across. 9.7 thick. So a thinner one, like the Bulgari. They're making good size here. You get 8 screws, 2 at each quadrant. That's pretty cool. I like the Roman numerals. Texture adds some interest on the dial. These numerals are kind of oversized. It's like in the 90s when you had these gigantic letters across your shirt. It would say like Ralph, Lauren, just across the entire shirt. It's odd. They're too big, too thick. These tiny spaces in between them. And it's integrated bracelet. Apparently there are other strap options that you can get from Chopard. Who knew? But you're going to be limited in your choices. And it looks kind of weird. I think this blue looks really tacky. The black would probably be a better choice for this, or even gray or something, if they make such a thing. The lume looks really cool. I like the Romans being loomed like this. I like that a lot. The 430 date is actually not bothering me on this one. And they did color match it. Score of 82. 33rd place, the Norcane Wild One. $5,290. 42 across, 12.3 thick. It almost makes it impossible for this to be a good GADA watch when it has forged carbon. The material's just not very upscale. We're luxury. You're talking about formal. You don't wear rubber and plastic to a formal event, in my opinion. It's very low on the everyday looks. Field vibe is pretty good. It is more of a field watch. I think it'll look good on an alternate strap. Probably a black one would look better than this tan, but you can go tan if you want to. Or green might look really cool too, if it matched the color of the green on here. I could not find a lume shot for this. Lume is going to be disappointing. You just have tiny little circles here. They didn't even do the full hands. You just get these little things at the end. Lume is not too impressive. This one is a chronometer though, with 70 hours power reserve, so that's good. Score of 82. 34th place, the Tag Heuer Carrera Twin Time. $4,850, 41 millimeters, 12.6 thick. It's looking very sporty. It's very green. Apparently it's the only color. I hope that's right. If there are any colors, I'll show you. Loomed hands only. These indexes have no loom. That's too bad. It looks super weird on a nylon strap. And I couldn't find a loom shot of only the 2 hands. No extension on the bracelet. It does have a color match date. That's pretty cool. It's a suitable option as a GADA watch. Not top of the class. Score of 82. 35th place is the Horage Decaflux. $3,375. 40 across, 10 millimeters thick. And it has magnetism protection. You can kind of tell from the lightning bolt seconds. So they have a silicone brown spring. That's really nice. I think it's supposed to be sort of like the Rolex Milgauss. Cool looking bracelet. There is an extension on the bracelet. That's nice. It's going to look a little bit off trying to take it to the mountains on a field strap. And I could not find a loom shot. Score of 82. All right, 36th place. One we all have on our list is the Richard Mille RM005-01 Titanium. 129 G's. That's a lot of G's. 40 millimeters, I believe here to here, and it's 13.8. Yeah, I should have penalized it a little bit more with the top dimension here. It's larger than just a 40 millimeter watch, you know, because of this oblong shape, the tonneau shape. Very cool watch. The date looks cool. I like that. It's a lot to look at with all the skeletonization. And your alternate strap choice is just a different color of silicone. It's always going to be silicone with this one. I could not find a loom shot. I don't think the loom is going to be all that impressive. I think it's just these dots. There's the Richard Mille. It's got a lot of cool technology in here. It has robust strap attachment mechanism, stuff like that. Anti-shock, of course, because tennis players wear it and it's fine somehow. Total score of 81. 37th is a Breitling Top Time B31. $5,900. 38 across. 10.3 thick. Breitling making a wearable size of a watch. Very wearable. I know they made that adjustment from the 90s where everything was huge. Was it the 90s? I don't even know. I haven't been in this thing for too long, so I don't know what the historical size of Breitlings, but I just have in my mind that they're huge. This one is not huge. It's a great size. Here's loom. Yay, we finally have a loom shot. Loom is decent, not great. And it kind of works on a field strap. Yeah, maybe the white would be better. No, the white has this weird blue. Yeah, I don't think these are great for the field. Score of 81. 38th place is the Parmigiani Fleurier Tonda. $28,000. It's 40 millimeters across, only 7.8 thick. Wow, that's awesome. You get the color match date. You get a beautiful dial. Very minimal stuff going on here. Just this logo and then Swiss made. That's awesome. It's a beautiful watch. Beautiful integrated bracelet watch. I love how they did this here. It looks so good. Could not find a loom shot. There's tiny strips of loom on the hands and on the indices, but on a NATO it looks weird. I wouldn't do that. Score of 80. 39th is the Carl Sushi & Son Belvedere. $10,000, 40.8 millimeters across, 12.2 thick. Huge bezel. Like the dial is kind of small on this watch. It's mostly just steel. You're gonna see a ton of steel. You can change out the strap if you want to, but I don't think that's a great idea. Probably just leave it on the silicone. The loom looks cool. It's a cool looking loom. I think they did a great job. This is interesting too with the date. Score of 80. Another beautiful integrated bracelet watch is the Atelier Wen Milsim. $3,588. 40 millimeters across, 9.4 thick. Getting the wings like the Nautilus. Beautiful dial and beautiful color as well. They don't really have conventional colors on this. So, you'll have to design your outfit around the watch. Bracelet looks really cool. Of course, there's no extensions, probably a butterfly clasp. Loom is really interesting. I don't know in the dark how useful this is going to be to tell the time. It's almost the same as loomed hands only, because what is all this stuff? You don't know where 12 is or any of that stuff. And the strap, of course, is totally unchangeable. Score of 80. All right, we had a bunch of fancy watches. Now here's more of a fieldy watch. The Weiss Standard Issue 38 millimeter blue. $2,600. These are so darn expensive. 38 across, 10.7 thick. And I know people like these. They're fancy, but at the same time, it's just kind of a field watch, but it's $2,600 from some brand. vice. So it's tough sell for me. You can get Longines and stuff like that at this price. I actually think it looks pretty cool on a steel mesh. You could dress it up that way. The lume is looking good. I like the color match date. It's a cool watch. And like I said, you can do double duty with if you swap out for a steel mesh or something, you can totally do double duty. As I said in the philosophy, field watch and GADA watch are a good marriage because you have kind of minimalist, unobtrusive dials. It's good for all purpose. Total score of 80. 42nd is the Mont Blanc 1858 automatic date, 0 oxygen, the 8000. And it's $3,255. It's 41 millimeters, 11.2 thick, decent thickness. You get a compass bezel, that's pretty cool. But it is looking a little bit fancy. And they loomed the compass bezel. So if it's pitch black and you're wandering around the woods, I guess you can set this to match your directions if you want to. I mean, the point of a compass bezel is to use it with the sun and do the thing where you take the opposite and you go in between the minute and the whatever. You do that complicated thing to find out where north is using the shadow of the sun. So yeah, in the dark you can't use it for that purpose. It does look pretty good on a field strap. I think it's going to be at home on your hike. And I think it's going to look classy for your semi-formal events too. It's a good option. Score of 80. 43rd place, the JLC Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Control. $9,550, 40 millimeters across, 8.8 thick. It's looking very dressy. This is a dress watch. Suitable for the office too. It's not too fancy. Is it suitable for casual? I think it is, like semi-casual. It doesn't look at home for your hike. It looks like a dress watch you're taking on a hike. The lume is not good. Beautiful watch though. And colored match date is nice to see. Score 79. 44th is the Grand Seiko Elegance SBGE 270. $6,500, 40.2 across, 14 thick. Wow, it's pretty darn thick. You do get the spring drive, that's pretty cool. You get a power reserve, dual time hand. Beautiful dial, that's kind of their specialty. Case is looking a little bit plain. It's not particularly flashy. The bracelet doesn't look that high quality, or at least in this image, the brushing looks bad, and I don't know. I've never seen a Grand Seiko in person, but people say the finishing is amazing. Probably is. I could not find a lume shot. It may not have lume. I think I gave it some lume credit. Let's see here. Yeah, I said lumed indexes, no second, assuming that this gray stuff is lume. I think they say it has lume. May not be that impressive though. Color match date. If you want to take it on your hike, with this one you can. This may be probably not a ton of Grand Seikos that look suitable for your hike. This one you can kind of pull it off. Total score is 79. 45th is the Bremont Armed Forces Broadsword. $3,500, 40 across, 11.9. It's looking very military, but it also has some sophistication to it as well. There's some smooth lines going on. I like that. I like the roundness of the case. The sailcloth strap is not dressy whatsoever. So you could put it on a steel mesh, or maybe a different kind of a bracelet, a straight end bracelet. That does dress it up a bit. The lume is great on this. Really like the lume. And the lume on the small seconds is nice. It's a cool one. Score 79. 46 is the Nomos Tangente Sport 42. 580. $5,260. 42 across, 10.9 thick. Yeah, I like the Nomos Club much better than the Tangente. It's its own look. The bracelet is bizarre. You've got these crown guards that are kind of weird. I don't like the blue here. I mean, I've mentioned that. I don't like the whimsy. The red and the blue and then the orange. It's all mixed together. That's too much for me. Do we have a lume shot? Here's the lume shot for the black one. Actually, the black Tangente looks better. Probably should have put the black Tangente up. It looks odd on the pass-through strap. Score of 79. 47th is the Horage Omnium K2 Micro Rotor. Micro Rotor. It better be thin. $5,592, 37.3. Yes, 8 millimeters thick. That micro rotor really helps make the watch thinner. A rotor probably adds at least a couple millimeters. So it's nice to have that. These lines here are actually on the dial. It's not just somebody's holding up a phone taking a picture. Like, that's actually designed into the watch. Their logo is pointillism style. This is not circular though. There's something weird going on here. I wonder if these lines are like steps or something, because this is weird. Doesn't look right on this parachute elastic strap. It's kind of weird. In the dark, it looks okay. Good loom. I mean, I like having the Arabics loomed. That's always an improvement over just little dots or something. So that's good. Very expensive though. And on the alligator leather, it's totally not suitable for casual things. So if you want to use it for casual wear, you probably need to change the strap. Yeah, alligator leather is not exactly like a flip-flops type of a watch strap. Score 78. 48th place, the famous, the legendary Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. $28,000. 41 across, 10.5. And it wears bigger than a 41 due to all this extra metal and everything, and the integrated bracelet. It's only 50 meters water resistance with a push-pull crown. That is not good. That is behind the times. I don't understand why they're still doing that. There's no magnetism protection. It just has that butterfly clasp that's not particularly comfortable. Well, butterfly clasps I've tried are not as comfortable. Loom is abysmal. Abysmal loom on this watch. The alternate strap choices are just going to be silicone sort of thing. Or maybe leather. They might do leather too. But yeah, your options are pretty limited for trying to dress this thing down. It's kind of just a fancy watch. Score 77. 49th place is the JLC Polaris Auto. $10,500, 41 millimeters, 11.2 thick. You have that internal rotating elapsed time bezel. That's useful. But it does kind of tone down the sophistication. It's looking a little bit sporty. You only get push-pull crown though. And you don't get a date complication. That's too bad. You can dress it down with the nylon strap, but that is kind of odd on this one. Loom looks really good on this actually. Total score 77. 50th place is the Breitling Avenger 2 Seawolf. Oh, this is a big one. That's what I'm talking about with Breitling. Yep, here it is. $4,550, 45 millimeters in diameter, 18.4 thick. Oh yeah. So I'm estimating the weight to be around 200 grams. It's gonna be heavy. Its chronometer, that's pretty sweet. You get an insane amount of depth, 3,000 meters of depth rating. Like, that's insane. In my dive watch video, I pointed out the deepest anyone's ever gone in scuba diving is like 300 something. And then if you go in some suit, you can go down to 600 or something. 3,000 is just ridiculous. So for GADA, that's not really the thing. However, with this Breitling, it's military style, but they found a way to make it look sophisticated, in my opinion. It's got the hobnails on the crown. It's got the crown guards, stencil numerals. It's looking very military, but I think you can pull it off. I think Breitling works in semi-formal. It kind of gets a pass. The loom is poor, so don't get excited about the loom. And it looks totally at home on a field type strap, of course. Whether you can wear it to a wedding, I don't know. I mean, you can, of course you can. We're living in more casual times in general, but it's not anyone's first choice to wear to a wedding. If you have anything that looks like more sophisticated than this, you'd be wearing that rather than this. Maybe you can wear the Seawolf with a suit. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Total score 77. 51st place, the Vacheron Constantin 56. $15,400, 40 millimeters, only 9.6. Yes, that's what the Swiss watches should be doing, just making them super thin. That's what we want. Nice color match date. It's looking classy. Are you gonna wear it on your hike? You can, if you want to. It looks a little bit weird. Loom is odd. You only get the 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. That's a little strange. But at least it has loom. It's kind of dressy. It's suitable for office, suitable for wedding, suitable for casual, probably not taken on a hike. And it's only got 30 meters water resistance with push-pull crown. So it really is more of a dress watch. Maybe business watch. Score 77. 52nd is the Zenith Defy Skyline. $9,200, 41 millimeters across, 12.7. And everybody's doing integrated bracelets, so this is Zenith's. And it looks cool. I like it. And you can still change that bracelet out for a normal watch. They did it well on this one. It's always a compromise when you have the ability to change strap and its integrated bracelet. A lot of times people do the female thing here where, where the bracelet attaches is actually this little tiny thing. They decided to give you the ability to swap out. I'm glad they did that. But if you swap the strap, it looks super weird. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe this is a bad idea. If you want to take that, it looks really bizarre. So never mind. This is strange. Lume is okay, I guess. Not particularly impressive. It looks cool on the bracelet though. Score 77. 53rd place is the Lubner Sledge. $10,731. 40.5 millimeters in diameter, 9.8 thick. It's got a really weird thing that covers the crown here. You like slide this across to access the crown. It has a crown cover. The crown is totally covered here. It's got some really old school style printing on here. Could not find a lume shot, and you're not going to be changing out this strap. It's got the male thing here. It looks pretty darn cool though. Score of 77. 54th is the Tag Heuer Carrera date. 3,400, 39 across, 11.5 thick. Yeah, these Carreras look nice. Kind of plain. It almost looks generic. If you didn't know it was Tag Heuer, you'd think it was like, you wouldn't think much of this watch. It looks okay on a NATO, I suppose. Lume is really bad. Yeah, these are the tiniest strips of lume I've ever seen. And they didn't color match the date. Yeah, I don't think this is at the top of anybody's list, really, but if you're going to spend $3,000, there's some better options for sure. Score 77. 55th is the Lang Edition 1, $3,920, 39 across, 8.4, very thin. Beautiful watch, no date complication, gigantic small seconds. Lume looks decent, and it does pull off the field vibe. Can you dress it up though? Because it's already not very dressy. I should have done a steel mesh as the alternate strap. I think that'll look weird though. I don't know, maybe, yeah, you just use leather for semi-formal. You could use this as a GADA watch. Score 77. 56th place is the Cuervo y Sobrinos Hemingway Iconico. It's $3,100, 40 millimeters, but crazy lugs, so it's gonna wear bigger. 12 millimeters thick. It's got push-pull crown. It's looking very brown. They have a tan version. I don't think the tan looks better. They're trying to evoke like tobacco with this, and it does that. The leather strap looks really nice. It's very formal. Brown is not the most versatile color, that's for sure. Doesn't work as a field watch, obviously. I could not find a lume shot. Very interesting lugs. That is very cool. A lot of style to this. Score 77. 57th place is the Laurent Ferrier Sport Auto. 55,000. 41.5 by 41.5. It's a square. And it's integrated bracelet. It's going to wear large. 12.7 thick. This is cool. The date. I like the color of the lume as well. Like in the daylight, it looks very interesting. Interesting case shape. A lot of style to this. Yeah, the dial itself takes up a small percentage of the real estate. There's a ton of steel going on. I like it's got a sector dial, fume pattern on the dial. Lume looks a little bit weak. And you're not going to be changing that strap. You're stuck with this strap that they give you. It tapers down radically. That's pretty interesting. Interesting watch. Score 76. 58th place is the Crador Locomotive. $12,000, 38.8 across, 8.9. And yeah, it sort of looks like the front of a locomotive. I know that's probably what they're going for since it's called Locomotive. Really cool honeycomb texture on the dial with, different colors. It's beautiful dial. Very interesting case. Very interesting looking watch. Very unique. The strap is sort of bizarre. You just have these floating out into nowhere. It's a weird look. And it looks exactly like the AP Royal Oak bracelet. Lume is going to be not impressive. There's no way to change the strap. You're just stuck with the bracelet. It's cool. It's fashionable. It's fashiony. It's not at all casual. So a lot of these watches miss on the casual side. It's tough to get both casual and semi-formal at the same time. Oh, it's titanium. Forgot to mention that. Total score 76. 59th is the Hublot Classic Fusion Racing Gray Titanium. Very plain looking dial. Oh, the price, $7,600. 38, so it's a smaller one. Only 9.6. Hublot, I think, makes pretty thin watches. This one's thin. They give you a color match date. That's nice. The counterbalance is really cool on the second. You know, it matches their logo. You don't get any minute markings. I do like these little screws they do. Those are really cool looking. They don't align though. They're going to be whatever direction. Yeah, and it's on the silicone. They do offer other straps, so you can get like a sailcloth or something. Couldn't find a loom shot. The loom is not going to be good. Oh, there's no loom. Yeah, there's no loom on this watch. They're just solid metal hands and indices. The dial's kind of like a void. There's nothing there of interest. It's just too plain, in my opinion. Score 76. 60th place is the Anordain Model 2 Medium. Very cool looking watch. It should be like $500, right? No, $3,000. 6 times what I think it should be. The case is just very plain. It does not look like it's finished particularly well. It's just kind of a plain slab of metal. I don't get it. The hands are looking cheap. I don't understand. I do like the, they say vitreous enamel. Okay, put that on the dial. And then their logo's up here. It's cool what they did there. I mean, it's pleasing to look at. I just don't get why it's so expensive. It's only 50 meters push-pull crown. Couldn't find a loom shot on this one either. And put it on an alternate strap. I think it's suitable. This one leans more on the field side, but it also does look a little bit dressy. They did a good job with that. It serves a GADA purpose. I just think it's too expensive. And it is small, 36 millimeters. Total score 76. 61st place is the Girard-Perregaux Laureato. 14,300, 42 millimeters across, 10.7. Yeah, of course, competing with the Royal Oak, competing with the VC Overseas, these sorts of things. You know, this is like the budget version of those, I guess. It's cool. It looks good. The GP is a little bit cheesy at the top. And I know Girard-Perregaux is highly regarded in watchmaking. They've got strength there. 8 out of 10 brand strength. Octagonal little shape here. It's an interesting look. It's its own look. Loom looks good on this. It's some kind of render, so I don't know if the loom is actually going to look this good in person. And they do sell other straps, so you can get silicone alternative. I think that's a decent compromise. In terms of the continuum of formality, silicone is wide. It veers into the casual and into the semi-formal, especially considering the times we're in right now. But then you have that bracelet if you want to dress it up a little more. Total score 75. 62nd place is the Grand Seiko SBGW 311. $5,900, 36.5, so nice and small, 11.6 millimeters thick. Yes, this is very classy. It's very minimalist. This is one of the best minimalist watches. There's really not much on the dial at all. But they have a nice texture to the dial that's really interesting. I like how they did that. The case shape is a little bit plain and kind of frumpy. These lugs, I would like a little bit more taper here, but you know, this is the Grand Seiko shape. It does sort of work as a field watch. You can definitely dress it down if you want to. And I couldn't find a loom shot for this either. It is a hand winding watch, so that's charming as well. Total score is 74. This is a beautiful one. The Angelus Instrument de Vitesse. $17,300, 39 millimeters across, 9.3. And yeah, you've got this pulse meter thing going on here. I don't know if this is a button or not. I'm sorry, I don't have that information. It does look like a button, which would be sweet if you can actually time for checking pulse. Because it's annoying when you have to wait till it gets all the way to the top. It's a 60 count pulse meter, which is really annoying. You really want to count the pulses for a full minute to tell somebody's pulse. That is ridiculous. No, you want 15. Ideally with pulse meter, you want a 15 scale. So you just count 15 seconds worth of pulses, and then that gets you close enough. A lot of times you see 30 count pulse meters. To see a 60 count pulse meter is crazy. There's no date complication on this. It's a really beautiful blue. I like the strap that comes with it. Loom looks good on this. You can kind of dress it down, I guess. I don't think... Yeah, I don't know. I do like the gold with the blue. Not really doing the GADA thing very well. Score 74. 64th is the Hermes Cut. $7,450, 36 across, 10 millimeters. And you can get it on the bracelet. I think it's more common to see it on silicone. They offer, different kind of whimsical colors. It's kind of a fashion thing, so that's why they're doing that. It really limits your options though. Like this green is really not going to go with all your attire. The lume looks cool. You even get orange lume, it appears, on the second hand. It's an interesting option. And like I said, they flip the numbers down here at the bottom, but otherwise they gravitate towards the center. That's pretty cool. Interesting crown location. Score 74. Another sports watch in 65th place is the Piaget Polo Field Watch. They call it a field watch, and it's a very weird shape. It looks strange to me. I do like the lugs here on the watch. There's just a lot of bezel and, just kind of rough. It's weird. And then the dial feels really empty to me. Get a trapezoidal date cut out. Would have been nice if they color matched that. Guess you can dress it down. I mean, when you try to make it like a field watch, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't look like a field watch. It's fine for taken to a wedding or whatever. I mean, this is just kind of a fancy watch and not particularly a standout in my opinion. Total score of 75. 66 is the Tag Heuer Link Date. $3,750, 41 millimeters across, 11.2 thick. Interesting bracelet, looking sort of like vertebrae or something. It's a weird bracelet. They used to do this a lot more, I think. This is sort of a throwback to what Tag Heuer used to do. You're not going to be changing that strap. That's not going to happen. The lume looks just average for a sports watch. Not anything exciting. That date is sticking out like a sore thumb. It's looking cheap. I don't like that. There's no border or anything. And yeah, this is a lot of money. You can get Longines. You can get other watches that I think are better for a GADA purpose. But this fits the casual a little bit and goes up into semi-formal. It's just not field vibe whatsoever. Score 74. 67th place is the Gavril West Village. $3,095. Oh man, Gavril always, their MSRPs are so inflated. I hope nobody's paying that much for this watch. It's a 40 millimeter, it's 12.5. And yeah, it's just a copy of the Rolex Datejust, and it doesn't look that great in my opinion. It looks kind of cheap. The dial and the indices, they just look cheap to me. The real Rolex, I think, has white gold hands or something. Something to elevate those hands a little bit. These hands look cheap. And that's the problem when you copy something like this. People are going to compare it to the real deal. This does not measure up. And you're 3,000. How can that be? You can't really dress it down. It's not going to make any sense. Lume is passable. Score 74. 68th is the Turby Old Military Vintage B. $3,000, 40 millimeters across, 10.6. Looking very military. They say military, it looks military. It looks very old school. Looks like it's 100 years old. That's really cool. I do like Turby. They're a cool brand. Mostly make pilot watches. You can dress it up. I think that looks pretty cool. I think you can use this for nicer events if you want to. You could also put it on like a black alligator leather if you're going to the opera or something. I think that would look okay. So this is an all-rounder, but you don't get a date. Score 73. 69th place is the Longines Master. $2,500, 38.5 across, 10.2 thick. And it's a dress watch. It's just only a dress watch. That Turby could kind of do double duty, dress watch, field watch. This is just dress. No lume or anything. I do like how the numbers are engraved into the dial. That looks so cool. And that they're italicized. It's really classy. Yeah, if you try to dress it down, it's just going to look bizarre. And there is no lume, like I said. I do like the black hands. Say recommend a strap swap. Yeah, I guess you could put it on some kind of bracelet or something. Or a steel mesh. Total score 72. Another Gavril. Also $3,000. 40 millimeters left to right, 11.5 thick. I mean, is this an original design by Gavril? Maybe it is. It looks all right, but 3,000. What are we doing? First one in the luxury price range, I do not recommend. Score 72. All right, the Nomos Tangente. Here it is. The 38 and with the date. Very cool Bauhaus design going on here. I really like their font here, the spacing in between the letters, the like widened M. That looks really cool. Made in Germany. It's so clean and simple. It is very appealing. The thinnest hands you've ever seen. It's pretty cool. There is no loom on this thing. Comes on a very formal looking strap. If you dress it down, it looks weird on this parachute elastic at least. Maybe a silicone would be a better way to dress it down a little bit. Small seconds is really cool. Having the numbers, I like it. It's a cool looking watch, very stylish. And it's a hand winding watch. It's one of the thinnest in the whole video, I'm sure. Only 6.8, that's crazy. Very cool watch. Very long lugs that are super thin. It's a distinctive tangente look. Score 71. The watch that was supposed to save AP, Audemars Piguet, code 1159. Because it's right before midnight. It's $34,400. Good grief. 41 across. It's white gold. It's white gold watch. I don't get it. I don't know why it's white gold. The strap makes it look not formal, which is strange. But then everything here screams formal to me, except like the minutes on the outside. I don't know. I don't want to deconstruct this too much, but I mean, the people have spoken. It's really not a desirable watch whatsoever. There's no loom on it. 30 meters push-pull crown. What are we doing? It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand it. Oh, I say you could swap it. I guess you could swap it to a steel mesh, but it's white gold, so that's going to look strange. They're not going to match. Score 71. 73rd place is the Cartier Santos. $7,750. 39.8 left to right, but it is taller. It's significantly taller. It depends on where you measure it, but it's going to wear large. Only 9.4 thick, so that's nice. Very classy watch. Tons of history to this. It doesn't really do the casual thing, though. So it's really just kind of like a business watch. And it'd be fine for that. I don't think it's very casual. I don't recommend it as a GADA watch. Score 70. 74th is the Breguet Classique 5177. $39,800. You have to pay for Breguet. Breguet is expensive. 40 millimeters, 8.8 thick. You do get a date on it, so that's nice. Very minimalist. The alligator black leather is formal. So if you want to dress it down, suppose you could put it on a pass-through or something. Like I said before, on these classier watches, silicone is probably a better dress-down version. But that would look weird too. Yeah, it's really just kind of a dress watch. Score of 70. 75th, 73rd are the ones I can recommend. The last I can recommend at all is the IWC Portugieser. $6,950, 40.4 across, 12.3 millimeters thick. Beautiful, beautiful watch. Again, looking more like a dress watch. But there's something about IWC, they managed to make it a little bit less formal. You know, these numbers are just kind of plain. They're not italicized or anything. Of course, there's no loom. If you want to dress it down, I think you can with this one a little better than some of the other dressy ones. It's interesting they have a little white cap on top of the hand stack. It's kind of cool. Total score of 70. 76th is the LU Chopard XPS. $11,800, 40 millimeters across, only 7 thick. Awesome. Very, very thin. And they say LU Chopard. Sometimes it's just Chopard, sometimes they put LU in front. I don't understand why. There's no date, there's no loom. You do get a small seconds, but they only give you the quadrants. So I guess you can measure 15 seconds at a time. That's all you get. Leather strap. I don't know. You get a chronometer, so that's pretty cool. It's just more formal. Score 69. 77th is the Hermes Slim de Hermes. $8,025, 39.5 across, 9 millimeters thin. So it's a thin watch. I like the orange 12. I love the stenciling. That looks really cool. The 8 is very interesting to look at. It's a cool watch, but not recommended as a GADA watch. Score 69. 78th is the Anordain Model 1 Medium. $2,849, 38 across, 11 thick. Again, $3,000 for Anordain. I don't get why that is. Apparently it's got medium brand strength, 5 out of 10, according to watch charts. It's very similar to that last one. Not recommended. 79th place is the FP Journe Chronometre Bleu. $37,400. 39 millimeters across, 8.3 thick. They have beautiful watches. FP Journe is amazing. I love their handset. It is so cool. The numbers, they chose to gravitate all the way around. So you have the upside down 6. I like that. I think that's really cool. They made the 8 a little bit smaller for the small seconds, and the 7. That's a little bit odd. I don't know what's better, to chop the 7 and have it a regular size, or to make them a little smaller like this. But this is what they chose to do. It's a very cool looking watch. The crown is really unique. It's made of tantalum. You're not going to find hardly any other watches anywhere that are made with tantalum. I think Zelos did one for, some kind of limited run. They did a tantalum swordfish or something. But it's super rare to see this material used. It's very expensive material. Apparently very hard to work with. But it's a beautiful watch. Not recommended as a GADA watch. It's really just formal. Score 68. 80th place is the Archanaut Arc 2. $4,400, 40.5 across, 13 millimeters thick. No chance of changing this strap. You're just stuck with the silicone they give you. Very cool look. I like this gigantic hour hand, skeletonized hands. It's very cool, but not recommended as a GADA watch. Score 67. 81st is the Menace Aruga. $6,150, 40 millimeters across, 10.2 thick. It's kind of a purple. I said it was blue, but it's more like purple. I like their logo here at the 12 o'clock, but who's heard of Menace? It's $6,000. That's a lot. It's more sporty than some of those formal ones we were looking at, so that's good. This date sticks out like a sore thumb. Be better to color match, of course. Be better at the 6 o'clock as well for balance. Very minimal dial text though on this thing, so that's kind of nice, I guess. Score 67, not recommended. 82nd is the Fears Brunswick 40. $4,000, 40 across, 12 thick. I don't get it. I don't get why it's so expensive. I don't get the watch. Score 67. 83rd is the Marie de Marillac Pillow Tie. $5,000, 45 across, very large, 12 thick. Very plain watch. The product shot looks really cool, but I don't know, it's a cool watch. It's similar to the Unimatic or something like that. It's kind of artsy, a little bit more artsy than the Unimatic. No minute markings. They really went minimalist on this. Strap doesn't actually look very good to me. It's kind of weird. Score 66. 84th is the Eberhard Traversatolo. $2,500, 43 millimeters across, 10.7 thick. Cool looking leather strap. That is very cool. Like the little hump in the middle. It's a cool look. Not recommended as a GADA watch. Score 65. 85th, and this is coming up, the JLC Reverso. Is it a great GADA watch? I say no. I give it a score 64. Why is it only 30 meters water resistance? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. It's supposed to be like you play polo with it. Why is it so wimpy? It's really just a fancy watch for taking to the opera. But what else do you do with it? I guess you could wear it to the office, but it's really just more on the formal side. Score 64. 86th is the Sartori Biard SB04. $4,324, 40 across, 11.5 thick. Another just really fancy looking watch. It is grade 5 titanium, that's nice. Not recommended, score 64. 87th is the Schofield Light, $2,935, 40 millimeters, 13.5 thick. PVD steel case, so that's limiting. I don't know. It looks really cool. A lot of these luxury watches look really cool, but you're just paying for the look. This one actually does have 200 meters water resistance, so that's impressive. It is very thick though. You get a fancy watch like this, I don't think you're going to want it to be almost 14 millimeters thick. That's crazy. Totally crazy thickness. And that's one of the things holding it back. It adds weight, it adds size. I do like their design though. Score 63. 88th is the Hajime Asaoka Tsunami. I have no idea how you say that correctly. $26,700, 37.5 across, 11.2. Not a great GADA watch in my opinion. Score 62. 89th place is the Naoya Hida & Company NH Type 2C1 letter cutter. Cool. $19,000, 37, 10.8. It's a hand winding watch. I guess that last one was too. It's a pretty watch. Not recommended as a GADA watch. Score 62. Another GP. 90th place, the Girard Perregaux 1966 Orion. It looks very pretty for your opera. You can wear it to the opera. Not recommended as a GADA watch. Score 62. And actually, the thing is, if you go to the opera, and maybe I'll do a dress watch video at some point, you're not supposed to have a second hand on a dress watch. It's kind of a faux pas. And this one even has a date. So I don't even know how great this would do as a dress watch. We'll see. I have to think about how you develop a scoring system for a dress watch. So we'll see how that ends up. If I do that in the future. I probably will. After all this field watch stuff, maybe I'll do dress watch. I don't think Girard-Perregaux is actually going to do that great as a dress watch either. Score 62. All right, the last two, both by the same maker. In 91st place, the Crayon Anywhere. $164,000. Good grief. 39 millimeters across, 9.5 thick. It's made of rose gold. I don't even know all the crazy things it does, but yeah, you've got this 24-hour indicator to tell you what's going on. But they have a perpetual calendar as well. I think this adjusts depending on the time of the year, how much of this is blue versus, yeah, you can see there's a little cutout here. These little, the night versus the day, there's a cutout here for the day too. These will change to show you how much daylight versus nighttime hours there are. That's so incredible. That is amazing. But it's really just a dress watch. Score 60. In last place, 92nd place, is the Crayon Everywhere. $600,000. Crazy. 42 across, 11.7. And yeah, probably the most complicated, like, mechanical watch you'll ever see. I don't know how it's only 11.7 thick. I don't even know. All these things on here, it is absolutely crazy. If you try to figure out everything this does, you know, you've got your dual time, you've got your perpetual calendar, it's going to change the daylight hours here. You can see that clearly there's some daylight saving time thing going on, because this is askew. If we didn't have daylight saving time, it wouldn't be askew. High noon would be at noon, instead of sometimes in the year being at 1 o'clock, bizarrely. But that's my rant about daylight saving time. I think we should match our watches to like what's actually happening with the sun. Really cool watch. No question about that. If you're super rich, that would be cool. What is the deal here with the time though? It looks like you only get a minute hand. Maybe your primary timekeeping is just this thing here. So it's like 9:40, it's confusing to read. I don't think anyone watching this video is in the market for a $600,000 watch. If you are, here you go. Doesn't rate highly as a GADA watch. Score 59. Those were all the luxury GADA watches except the top 5. So let's go ahead and go to the top 5. In 5th place is the Tudor Ranger bracelet. Get it on the bracelet for GADA watch. $3,475, 39 millimeters across, 12 thick. That is a great size. That's a very understandable watch size. It's not crazy thin, not crazy thick. Yeah, it's a little on the thicker side for a GADA watch, but you get the really cool spear hour hand. Nice big numbers here. There's red on the end of the seconds. I actually prefer if it didn't have that. It makes it too casual. That's the thing with the GADA watch. This is more on the casual side. You get 100 meters water resistant screw down crown. That's great. You actually get a silicone balance spring. Tudor's great about that, so that's really excellent protection against magnetism. You can definitely dress it down. They offer it on this strap. I would not buy it that way with this thing. I would definitely get it with the bracelet. The lume is looking really good on this. You get nice big chunk of lume on the seconds. You're not going to be disappointed with the lume. Minimal dial text. It just says Ranger. I really like that. It has strong everyday looks and field vibe. I think it's a wonderful GADA option. You don't get a date though. I would like to see a date. Total score of 91. All right. And in 4th place is the Omega Seamaster Railmaster 2025. It's their newer model. $5,800, only 38 across, 12.4 thick. I can't remember if this is smaller than the previous Railmaster. They've modernized. It's looking a little bit classier. It's interesting with the case shape. I guess they're trying to standardize case shapes or something. This is the gray one. They have a brown one. No black, no blue. Just those two colors. It is 150 meters. A little bit better than that Tudor. Screw down crown. It does have a Faraday cage. That's awesome. But it means you can't look at the movement in the back. It's a chronometer. The Tudor was a chronometer as well. Here's the lume for the 2025 version. Looking really cool. I love that they mix the colors. You have green and blue lume. And on the dial, you don't see a difference, so that's really nice. You can dress it down. It doesn't really look that field watchy. The old Railmaster had a better field vibe than this one. This is leaning more into the semi-formal arena. It's kind of getting close to the Aquaterra, really, just with a few numbers on it. So I think they lost some of the Railmaster identity with this update. You still have the little pointy indices, like the old Railmaster had. Apparently there's no extension on the bracelet, too. That's strange. I don't get that. Total score of 91. In third place is the Patek Philippe Aquanaut 5167A. $24,250, 41 across, 8.1 thin. It is very thin. Oh man, Patek Philippe's are expensive, but they make a really good watch. I love the globe pattern on the dial. The shape is just so cool. You know, you've got some shiny elements, but you also have a little bit of brushing, and it gets both. It looks sophisticated, but it also looks kind of casual at the same time. It's a really cool watch. They continued the globe pattern on the silicone strap. That's mostly what you'll see, but they actually offer a bracelet. Here is that bracelet. Very different look for the Aquanaut. It does class it up a little bit over that silicone, but it kind of looks odd. It's a little bit odd on the bracelet, but that option exists. Something to consider. The lume is fantastic on this. You even get loop opposite the date window here. No second lume, but the lume on what they have it on is so good. The date window should be black though, in my opinion. I think this looks weird. I don't know. Do they all need to have color match dates? Maybe not, but I think this would look better with a negative display date. But yeah, this scored really well as a GADA watch. I think it is really good as a GADA watch. Score of 92. Second place is the Longines Spirit bracelet. $3,250, 40 millimeters across, 12.2 thick. It's titanium. That is awesome. Definitely get it on the bracelet. Don't get it on the leather. Just get the bracelet. What do they say? Buy once, cry once. Or no. Does that apply here? I don't know if it applies. If you're going for the GADA experience, you should have a bracelet, in my opinion. Except for maybe the Aquanaut, because that bracelet's a little weird. But definitely with this one, you want the bracelet. There's no date on it, unfortunately. It is a chronometer. It does have a silicone balance spring. 72 hours power reserve. That's awesome. That's on the high end. Fantastic lume on this thing. You even get lume on the second hand. There, I think it's there. Yeah, there's the second hand. You can definitely dress it down. It's definitely suitable for the field. It's looking very fieldy. Yeah, I think the Longines Spirit did really well as a field watch and as a pilot watch. It's a great GADA watch. Really great GADA watch. Longines is doing something really excellent with their Spirit line. Except for maybe the chronograph. But the Longines Spirit and then the Zulu Time one, those are fantastic. It's definitely a standout, suitable GADA option, score of 92. All right, what's in the first place? What gets the highest score? It is the Ball Engineer 3 Pioneer 2, $2,599, 40 millimeters across, 13 thick. Barely even in the luxury category, you know, but it's defeating the other luxury giants. Defeating Rolex, defeating Omega. And why is that? Well, they have the Faraday cage. They have an anti-shock system for the movement. So that's robustness that you don't see. And for GADA watch, this does get the field vibe really, really well. It looks great for every day, and it looks good for field too. It can do both. It is more of like an office sort of a type of watch. It's not really like the ultimate field watch by any means, but it can serve that purpose really well. And you do get the day and the date on some of the models. You have to be careful with Ball because they have so many different models throughout the years. The coolest thing about it is the lume. Lume is so good on this. There's a mix of tritium and then conventional because you've got little conventional lume lines out here. But the lume looks so good. It's really cool. And yeah, it looks totally at home on a pass-through strap. It looks like you can wear it in the field. You can wear it in the field. It's got that shock protection. It's robust. Screw-down crown. 904L stainless steel. One downside is the bracelet doesn't have an extension. And this isn't the coolest Ball bracelet. I would have liked to see that H-link bracelet they have with the shiny middle links. That would be cool. You don't get that on this one. It's just kind of a plain thing they have here. But yeah, that's my number one. So those were all the field watches. Some beautiful watches in the luxury price range. And so that's the end of video number 4. The next one will be video number 5, which I will live stream. Live streaming next Thursday, July 17th at 8 p.m. Mountain. And after I live stream it, I'll clean it up a little bit, edit some things, and put it up as a regular video. I would love it if you would join me for that live stream next week. If you enjoyed my video, please like and subscribe. All the YouTube revenue goes directly to missions. And now for the final segment. As you know, I always like to talk about the Bible at the end. That's what I'm going to do now. It's Bible time. All right, my favorite time, Bible time. I'm not a pastor or biblical scholar. I just love sharing a passage of the Bible with people. That's what I'm doing today. We finished the Fruits of the Spirit series, so now is something new today. In my daily Bible study, reading through the Bible front to back again, right now I'm in the book of Daniel, and I just decided, why not talk about Daniel 3? This is the famous story where Nebuchadnezzar throws 3 Hebrews into a blazing furnace, and God protects them, and they emerge with not a hair on their heads, or even their clothing singed. I'm calling it Into the Fire. The backstory from Daniel 1 is that the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar besieged Jerusalem and brought back some of the Israeli nobility to serve in his palace. And he's teaching them Babylonian and that sort of thing. This included Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. When they got there, though, Nebuchadnezzar gave them Babylonian names, and the 3 that were thrown in the fire are known today by us as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. The new names kind of seem to mock them. I'll put up a little chart where you can see, like Daniel, he's Bel's prince, and who's Bel? Bel is some, demon or something. And then Azariah got changed to Abednego, servant of Nebo, which was probably the planet Mercury, those sorts of things. I'm sure they weren't too thrilled to have these Babylonian names. Later, in Daniel 3, Nebuchadnezzar made a big golden statue, and he commanded, nations and peoples of every language, this is what you are commanded to do. As soon as you hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipe, and all kinds of music, you must fall down and worship the image of gold that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Whoever does not fall down and worship will immediately be thrown into a blazing furnace. Obviously, in response, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego said to him, in verses 17 and 18, if we're thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it, and he will deliver us from your majesty's hand. But even if he does not, we want you to know, your majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up. So they were obeying the first and second commandments of Yahweh. Exodus 20, verse 3 through 6. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven above or on the earth beneath or in the waters below. You shall not bow down to them or worship them. So it's very important to God that we do not worship idols, and they just refuse to do it. And I think it's interesting, they acknowledged that God could save them, but they said even if God chose not to save them, because obviously it's God's will, if it's God's will that they should perish in the fiery furnace, they would rather go to their deaths than violate God's law. That is a great attitude to have, obviously. So in response, Nebuchadnezzar ordered the furnace to be heated to 7 times hotter than usual, and for them to be bound and thrown into the furnace. And apparently the furnace was so hot that the soldiers who took them to the furnace were killed. While these 3 men were inside, Nebuchadnezzar noticed that there was a 4th man in the fire. And he said, the 4th looks like a son of the gods. That's verse 25. Many interpret this as a Christophany, i.e. an appearance of the pre-incarnate Jesus. I don't know if I fully subscribe to that or not. I just know that's a popular belief about who the 4th man in the fire was. Others say an angel. Clearly Nebuchadnezzar thought he looked like the Son of God. But I have a 3-part outline for this. That was all the backstory. Point 1 is fury of the king. 2 is firm in the faith. And 3 is favor of the king. Point 1, fury of the king. So the spirit of the age in that time in Babylon demanded that they bow down and worship a golden idol. Today, the spirit of the age demands and pressures us in different ways than it did back then. You don't see leaders commanding that their subjects bow down to golden idols. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to explore what are these demands and pressures that the spirit of the age puts upon us. Because it can be hard to identify modern idols. They're not as obvious as a direct command to bow down to a golden idol. Once I started writing a list of these idols, I was surprised at how long the list is. Before I dive into the spicy list, it's important for me to frame this right, so you don't hear something I'm not saying. I'm not saying that everything on this list is an idol for everybody. Idolatry is one of those things. Is it worship, or is it just something you engage in that's not a problem? For example, some people can drink alcohol in moderation, and some people cannot. For some people, the alcohol is an idol. So what I am saying with this list is that some people in modern times have elevated these items, which I will list, above service to God and biblical doctrine. Some of these things on the list are opposed to biblical doctrine, so, But yes, I'll go through these quickly. My goal is not to linger on any of these too long. But there's 3 broad buckets I did. Western secular doctrine is one of them. Lifestyle is another one. And the third one is personal glory. So I'll start off with Western secular doctrine. First on this list has to be feminism. In the modern version of feminism, abortion, promiscuity, war of the sexes, economic independence, separate bank accounts, diminishment of the family, egalitarianism in marriage, so abandonment of God's design for marriage to be a partnership of equals to have complementary roles. That was the first one. Second is scientific consensus. And we have seen this a ton. I think this is definitely a doctrine which has been elevated above biblical doctrines. Vaccines. COVID pseudoscience, which literally criminalized corporate gatherings of worship of God. That's some biblical stuff right there, in the bad way. Climate change pseudoscience, science that's based on speculative models and is not replicable. Evolution is a huge one. Again, not replicable, based on speculative models. They'll say they know how hot it was, the degrees of temperature, like some absurd number of years ago. Okay, so that second was scientific consensus. Third in the doctrines is the social justice doctrine. This modern thing of weaponized outrage, racial quotas in hiring, and there's a lot of bad stuff that's wrapped up in this. In prayer time tonight, we're discussing how everyone is equal in the eyes of God. No man is better than the other. In modern times, people turn against each other based on beliefs, based on whatever. We're not treated as equals like we used to be. That doctrine of all men are equal is not practiced in modern times. And fourth on the doctrines is the multiculturalism. This is a huge threat to the Christian worldview. Mandatory tolerance of deviant worldviews or religions, including atheism. And my list of Western secular doctrines that can be idolized could go on and on. I guess my point, so are these idols, or is it just extreme pressure to conform? Like, the punishment with Nebuchadnezzar was you go into the fiery furnace. Our punishment in modern times is not so severe, but we do have these social pressures that I think it's important to be aware of. There are a lot of Western secular doctrines that are in opposition to or have completely replaced the biblical worldview. So A was secular doctrine, B is lifestyle. I've got 4 points under this. Consumerism, making idols of possessions. Car, house, clothes, personal belongings. The idea of seeking gratification in acquiring fancy stuff. 2 is instant gratification. So in modern times, intolerance of temporary discomfort, seeking external sources for internal fulfillment. This can be things like drugs, alcohol, food. Third is bunk psychology and therapy. So degeneracy is one of these things, this sex positivity idea, shacking up. Individualism, self-expression. These things get elevated higher than biblical doctrine. Meaningless platitudes, putting this under the bunk psychology thing. Examples, just be yourself. Think positively. Like The Secret. Oh, if I just think I'm wealthy, I become wealthy. The law of attraction. Follow your heart. Happiness is a choice. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. People glom onto these platitudes, and it's a replacement for the wisdom of the Bible. You won't see the Bible saying happiness is a choice. It's not in the Bible. Fourth under lifestyle is aristocracy, modern aristocracy. College, being college educated, living in a big city. There's a strong disdain for rural or non-college educated people. At least from what I grew up with, I saw that. Again, all men are not created equal. It's like, oh, if you have this upbringing, if you live in the country or you didn't go to college, well, you're a little bit lesser. So yeah, that's under the category of lifestyle. Final one, personal glory. And I'm sure we can all find some stuff in here. Number one is obsession with physical perfection. So people are seeking after their own personal glory. They're seeking to get compliments, to look great in the eyes of other people. Fitness, plastic surgery, people modifying their bodies. Search for the tonic of youth. These are idols, and they're damaging. They're damaging to people for sure. Another one in the personal glory, number two, is achievement, achieving money. Money is an indicator of success, and so you got tons of money, you must be really successful. Personal achievement, personal glory. Conspicuous consumption, trying to keep up with the Joneses. Large house, fancy things. And then another one in here is power. Young people are very interested in becoming influencers on YouTube or Instagram or whatever. They want to be seen, they want to be heard for their personal glory. Those are things that I think people can turn into modern idols, things that were pressured. The spirit of the age kind of fuels these things. Finally, going back to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fiery furnace, they refused to bow before the golden idol, and there is punishment, not nearly as much as the fiery furnace, but there is punishment for going against the spirit of the age. All those things I listed, there's often a penalty for speaking out against those things or just saying that there's an alternate worldview. I remember when nobody was speaking out against feminism, for example. And don't mishear me, I'm not speaking out against equality. I think equality is fantastic. Everyone is equal in the sight of the Lord. Okay, second major point, firm in the faith. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused to bow down to the idol and violate the first and second commandments of Yahweh. How are they able to speak with such boldness? Well, Matthew 10, verse 19 through 20 says, "But when they arrest you, do not worry about what to say or how to say it. At that time you'll be given what to say, for it will not be you speaking, but the Spirit of your Father speaking through you." That's amazing. I think that probably happened. They spoke so boldly and so clearly. I am certain that the Spirit of God, the Holy Spirit, was speaking through them to Nebuchadnezzar, saying, "No, we will not bow down and worship your idol, even if it means our death." You do sadly see this in modern times in some African nations, Christians being told, renounce your Christian faith or you will die. And Christians are saying, we will not renounce our faith and being killed on the spot. Yeah, may I just say, thank God that is not the situation in our country. A lot of people have it much worse right now. Psalm 27, verse 1. "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? You can take my life, but you can't take away my love of God." And God is bigger than anything. Jeremiah 1, verse 8. "Do not be afraid of them, for I am with you and will rescue you, declares the Lord." And that's something he said to Jeremiah on the condition that Jeremiah goes where God sends him and does whatever God commanded him to do. So, you walk with the Lord's got you. Of course, it doesn't mean that we won't die. I mean, like I mentioned, people in Africa are being murdered for refusing to renounce their Christian faith. But I firmly believe we have great reward in heaven. Martyrs have a great reward in heaven for standing firm in the faith. Third major point is the favor of the king. Okay, so after all that, after Nebuchadnezzar saw them come out of the furnace without a hair singed or anything, Nebuchadnezzar said, "Praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who sent his angel and rescued his servants. They trusted in him and defied the king's command and were willing to give up their lives rather than serve or worship any god except their own God. Therefore I decree that the people of any nation or language who say anything against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego be cut into pieces and their houses be turned into piles of rubble, for no other God can save in this way." And then the king promoted them So that's the favor of the king. And I mean, as they said, even if God didn't save them, they loved God enough not to falter in the faith. Psalm 27, verse 4. One thing I ask from the Lord, this only do I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze on the beauty of the Lord and to seek him in his temple. All the days of my life. You can't just set it aside for one day. Oh, I'll just worship this idol one day. No, it's all the days of my life. That's what we should seek. The king whose favor we should seek is not Nebuchadnezzar. The king whose favor we should seek is King Jesus, even if it means going to our death. However, sometimes our faithfulness will also result in blessings from the world. That should never be our motivation for standing firm in the faith. Yes, they were promoted. They had this great change of heart from Nebuchadnezzar, and glory be to God for that. God is the one who's pulled them from that furnace. My ardent desire is to hear from the Lord, well done, good and faithful servant. Matthew 25, verse 23. His Lord said unto him, well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things, I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. That's from a parable. That's my desire, to hear, well done, good and faithful servant. Hebrews 11 to 12 mentions great figures in the faith. It talks about martyrs of the faith. It talks about all these great things that were done. This is from Hebrews 11:37 through Hebrews 12, verse 3. It's a longer passage here. They were put to death by stoning. They were sawed in two. They were killed by the sword. They went about in sheepskins and goatskins, destitute, persecuted, and mistreated. The world was not worthy of them. They wandered in deserts and mountains, living in caves and in holes in the ground. These were all commended for their faith. Yet none of them received what had been promised, since God had planned something better for us, that only together with us would they be made perfect. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. For the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him who endured such opposition from sinners, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. A big part of being faithful to God is resisting the spirit of the age, and we don't face death. The consequences that we can face for going against the spirit of the age is so minor compared to what martyrs of the faith had to experience in the past. And like I said, are experiencing in Muslim parts of the world. I pray that God would give us the strength to do just that, to resist the spirit of the age and stand firm in the faith. That's all I've got on the passage of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fiery furnace. There's a lot we can apply to our lives today. And let me know if you have anything to add to my list. Yeah, there definitely are pressures in the modern age, and I tried to capture some of those. But I'll close this with prayer. Lord, you can see our hearts. You know our motivations. We can make anything into an idol, and we do. We make things into idols. We abandon biblical doctrine in order to get along with the spirit of the age. We just try to keep our head down and out of trouble. Lord, I pray that you would give us all the strength to stand firm and to say no when something is wrong, and not go along with ideas that are opposed to your law, to the way you would have us live. Lord, I thank you for this time to study your word. Pray that you would move in a mighty way to help us all learn the lesson from this story from the Old Testament in Daniel 3. Lord, I love you, and I thank you for everything you've given to us. And I pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen. Now may the Lord of peace himself give you peace always and in every way. The Lord be with you all. See you next time.